It started out as an ordinary night. A group of friends and I decided to head to a remote area in the city of Buckeye, Arizona, and just hang out to watch the stars. As we were driving, we noticed a pretty strange looking house next to a creepy cemetery. Being adventurous, my friends decided that they wanted to go into the cemetery and see if anything spooky would happen. Being the more sensible one, I decided to stay outside the cemetery and keep a watch out. As I stood outside the entrance of the cemetery, the silent and chilling night made me begin to feel paranoid. I turned around to call out to my friends, and all I heard was the sound of my own echo in a silent night. I began to pace back and forth, hoping that they would come back already. As the anxiety grew stronger, I heard a noise, and when I turned around, I saw my friends returning. A sense of relief took over me. I begged them for us to leave. Looking rather confused, they agreed, and we got into the truck and drove away. A feeling of uneasiness still took over me, and I could not shake the feeling that something bad was going to happen. As we drove throughout the night, I began to feel better, and we laughed and joked while listening to music. As we were driving down a one-way dark street, the first thing we noticed was it was eerie. No turnoffs, houses, nothing but fields, dirt, and the street was rather narrow. We joked around about how it would be perfect for a horror film. We then noticed a super bright light behind us. The first thing we thought was some jerk had his brights on. We were annoyed because it was hard for the driver to see and it was dangerous. We just ignored the car and continued talking. After a minute, I felt the need to turn around, and when I did, I was in total shock. I gazed out the back window to the view of a dark one-way road. Absolutely no car in sight. I told my friends in a state of alarm because the car was just there. We slowed down and then pulled over, and looked around and saw nor heard anything. We just drove away and headed back into town. We never knew what happened that night. We thought it was just our minds playing tricks on us. A week later, we decided to go back to Buckeye to watch the meteor shower. We headed to a different part of Buckeye because we didn't want anything like that what happened previously to happen again. As we were driving, we noticed an old abandoned house, and being adventurous again, my friends decided to check it out. Feeling uneasy once more, I decided to stay back by the car in case anything happened. As I stood by the car, all I heard was the sound of silence, when all of a sudden something caught my eye in the distance. Far out was a small but bright light in the middle of the road. As it began to move towards me, I broke out of the trance I was in and I called out to my friends. The light stopped about a mile and a half away. My friends emerged from the house laughing. I called out to them that we should leave and they joked around saying I was too paranoid. I pointed in the direction of the light without breaking my concentration, and they all looked. We all just stood there staring at it when all of a sudden it started coming toward us at a fast speed. Everyone freaked out and we jumped into the car. I started it up and turned around and drove off. Realizing we needed to go in the opposite direction, I turned around and when I did, the light disappeared. We drove completely out of Buckeye and didn't return. The creepy thing about it was that as the light was approaching us, we didn't hear the sound of a car. Come to think of it, we didn't really hear anything on that silent night. The only thing we heard were the sounds of us yelling and freaking out. To this day, we don't really talk about it, but when we do bring it up, we just laugh and change the subject. What was out there and why was it messing with us?